similar to the Indiana Pacers game when the Pacers decided to use Miles Turner more as a stretch big to punish Jalen Duren. I think we saw that from the get-go with the Boston Celtics. So we have JD guarding Al Horford here. Al just going to stay in the corner, stretch the floor, and I want you to watch Drew Holiday already pointing this direction. He's seeing an opportunity to set up an Horford three. As he cuts through, he sees that JD is going to stay here. You can see Jaylen Brown is seeing that. Al Horford is going to be open. There's nobody out here to help, right? It's JD alone on Al Horford. Drew going to set a screen here, get in the way of JD, going to make it harder for him to get out on Al Horford. And you're going to see this a couple times from the Boston Celtics, just looking for ways to get Horford the ball to force Jalen Duren out on the perimeter as he struggled to do that, struggled to defend on the perimeter this game. Again, referring back to the Pacers game, JB Bickerstaff seems to like his bigs in drop, but that obviously didn't work against Miles Turner as a stretch five. Al Horford playing as a stretch five. It seems like JB went with a switch style kind of defense where he's going to switch on to Jason Tatum here to prevent kind of that pull up three off of that. Now, Al Horford is not rolling, so Tim Hardaway Jr. can handle this matchup. It's whether or not Jalen Duren can handle this matchup. And of course, Jason Tatum is going to like this. JD's in a good position. He's in a good stance here. He gets a good contest, but Tatum is going to try to exploit that matchup all game. And that's evidenced by the very next play. We're going to have Al Horford get the ball here. Immediately sends it to Tatum. He knows that he's got Duren on him. He knows that we are switching on defense, which means that Duren is going to have to step up on Tatum. That's too much room, right? He needs to be hedging. He's too far down behind Al Horford. If we are switching this on defense, JD needs to be already at the 3-point line here, making Tatum uncomfortable as soon as he comes off that screen. Unfortunately, JD is not up here enough to contest the three, and Tatum drills it. All right, this time we've got another pick and roll with Tatum. Ron Holland guarding him, playing some pretty solid defense up here. This is a pretty high screen, though. We've got some distance away from the 3-point line, and now we've got Stu playing as the big instead of JD. Holland playing good D. First screen attempt doesn't work. Second screen attempt is coming, but Stu's pretty far away here. It's almost like he expected Tatum to take that drive to the left, but this is a little too far away from this screen for Stu in order to properly defend against this pick and roll. So Stu just not in the right place, right? Just whatever happened here, he's just way too far away. And Ron going over this screen this far away from the 3-point line is probably something that he could have gone under. But again, he may be relying on Stu to already be there in this position. But this is just poor defense by Stu, not being in the right spot to help protect from this Tatum pull-up three. This possession kicks off with Derek White being doubled for some reason. I'm not sure what happened before this for Tobias and Jaden Ivey to both be on Derek White. But as soon as you have two guys on the ball, you know that you're going to have to rotate and somebody over here is going to be open. So with two guys here, you're going to have to scramble. You're going to have to help the helper in order to pick up the open man when the Celtics rotate. So Cade picks up Al Horford, which means JD needs to be the one stepping up next to help Cade. Cade is leaving his man to pick up Al Horford. And you can see Jaden Ivey is already starting to rotate. He's not even looking at JB because he knows that Duren is supposed to pick up JB. And Jaden Ivey is going to help on Jalen Duren's man, and he'll help pick up Luke Cornett. But Duren just not getting out of there soon enough, so Cade has to step up again. So he's kind of playing back and forth between these two guys because Duren needs to get up here quicker if they're going to rotate. You can see Ivy is picking up Luke Cornett. So these rotations, we are not on the same page here because we are going to leave Al Horford open for another three. The very next play, Luke Cornett has already come through and set a screen, which forces Jalen Duren to pick up Tatum, and Tobias Harris is now guarding Luke Cornett. So they have switched, and Tatum is calling an ISO. They're properly spaced out. He's got help on the left from Ivy. He's got help on the right from THJ. Again, Duren is going to be in a good defensive position here. Tatum gets him to turn his hips twice. There's one. He moves him back the other way, gets him to turn, and that's just too much space. It's a good effort by Duren, but I just don't know if he has the skill sets to guard these kind of guys, these kind of perimeter players outside the three-point line. Again, the Celtics are going to be attacking Jalen Duren, forcing this switch to happen. JB sees it. Horford pop into the corner. They're spaced out. Brown steps back. And he says, Tatum, you've had your fun going ISO against JD. Now it's my turn. To be fair to Duren, this is a very, very deep shot. This is Duren obviously did not expect that, but again, they are continuing to exploit Jalen Duren one-on-one from outside in ISO positions as he just cannot keep up on the perimeter. Here we've got a good defensive possession based on a rotation standpoint for the Pistons, where their rotations are really crisp, and you see how this help the helper situation works. So Tatum gets a ball screen from Drew. Cade and THJ switch, and Tatum's going to hit Drew on the roll. It's good defense. JD helps from the corner to pick that up. JI sees this happening, so he is going to help the helper. He's going to help Jalen Duren by picking up Al Horford, and THJ is now going to guard Derek White. So this is really good, crisp rotations by the Pistons this possession. Now there's nowhere for Drew to go, right? Everybody is guarded, picked up their new man after these rotations. But look at THJ. He's looking straight at the ball. He has no idea that his new man that he's guarding, Derek White, is going to slip right behind him to get an open bucket. So this is just THJ. He has a new man that he is guarding compared to when the play started. He lost track of him. And this is just sloppy losing your man on defense. This one is a tough defensive possession for the Pistons, and I think it's more complimentary for the Celtics of just how good they are and Joe Mazzulla getting creative with his play call. So again, we are switching on the screen. Luke Cornett hits Ivy with a screen, and Isaiah Stewart is switching on to Jason Tatum. Now, at the exact same time, you have Peyton Pritchard, who is being guarded by Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley is not used to being the pick and roll defender here. Pritchard is actually going to set another screen on Stewart. So it's instantly a ball screen into a switch where you're being hit with a second ball screen on that switched on defender. Beasley, not used to playing the pick and roll defender. Tatum coming around. He is not up high enough. If we are going to play switch defense, Malik Beasley is not in the correct position to pick up Jason Tatum when he comes off of the screen. Tatum knows it, drills the three. So at this point in the game, Pistons are up 6 with about 3.5 minutes to go. And we're going to see two back-to-back threes here by Drew Holiday. The first one, I think, is pretty good defense from the Pistons, but it's just one of those things that if you're going to gamble for the ball, you've got to come up for it. So again, we have another screen and roll between Tatum and Horford, where JD is going to step out. We switch here so that JD is stepping out high on Tatum. Tatum's been killing him off the ball screens. So Tatum, as Ivy switches on to Horford, Tatum's going to hit this, and this pass just fits in perfectly. THJ is going to gamble, hoping that he's going to come up with that ball. And if you're going to gamble like that, you have to come up with it. Because again, kind of like earlier, now we have three people around the ball, which means Celtics players are going to be open and you're going to have to scramble to rotate. Horford hits White, and now Cade has to make a decision between guarding these two people. THJ, now that he gambled, right? It's like who is he guarding? Because he's not in a position to guard anybody right now after gambling, and Ivy and Cade are scrambling to pick up White and Holiday. Again, another situation where you're playing the defending champions. Their ball movement is crisp. They have shooters at all five positions, and this is just what a good team does to get the Pistons scrambling on defense. Brown with the drive. You have three people on the ball, which means other people are going to be open, and you have expected rotations coming when the Celtics start kicking the ball around the perimeter. So JB is going to kick it out. THJ rotates to Horford, which means Ivy has to rotate to the top of the key. And Tobias, just as he's watching it happen, just can't get out there fast enough to guard the open Holiday, who's going to drill the three. Here's the next bucket after those Drew Holiday 2 threes. As we see here, we have THJ on Jason Tatum, and then Horford coming to set a back screen for him. The way that THJ is set up here makes me think that he thinks a switch should be coming because if you're getting back screened here, Tatum slipping to the lane is going to be wide open. So I think THJ expects Duran to take Tatum here so that THJ can just stay up here with Al Horford. But depending on what, coaching principles are, Al Horford, I think he hit 5 threes this game. So Duran is wanting to stay on him so that he doesn't lose him. Seems like THJ was hoping for a switch. He's caught in no man's land. Tatum's got 4 to 5 inches on THJ, so that's an easy bucket. And Duran is stuck out here having to guard Al Horford. We saw the same look. It was the very first play that I broke down in this breakdown where we have an empty side post up for the Celtics. Drew Holiday on the wing where their center is in the corner. Tatum needs a bucket to put the dagger into the Pistons. And you can see Drew Holiday start to leak down again. You got Duran in the middle of the paint who wants to help Ivy if Tatum takes this to the rim. Tatum creates enough room on this post up to get Ivy away to create an open shot. But again, you can see Holiday down here setting that flare screen for Horford. So if Tatum does want that pass again, where Horford got an open three earlier, THJ and Duran, they're just too far away or being screened to be able to get out there in time. But Tatum, open mid range, drills the shot, puts the game away for the Celtics.